Welcome to Your Epic Life Awaits. In the last episode, you learned about Immodius the dragon in the corner, where people who are working with other humans are assaulted with the other humans' negativity and their problems. You learned that Immodius is hungry for human emotion, and when people are shut down, he breathes fire and he burns them. And in their pain, they lash out at other people. And that's our metaphor for succumbing to PTSD. You also learned that you have defenders against this dragon's assault. You have Echo, who represents your self-concept, and Mojo, who represents your physical well-being. You also have Pointer, who's an emblem of your attitude, and Sparky, who represents the temperature in your relationships. Your last defender, and I believe the most important defender, is Buddy. Buddy is your connection to love, your connection to that power that drives everything in the universe. It's the power that keeps us all alive and keeps everything alive. In this series, you'll acquire the skills and abilities you need to step into an epic life. Remember that an epic life is one with energy, peacefulness, inspiration, and connection. The first thing, your very, very first step, the first thing that you'll want to do is to pay attention to your habits. Everything else depends on our ability to shape our own habits. Do you realize that 40 to 70% of what you do each day is based on habit? If you've ever driven to work and looked back and not remembered how you got there, you don't remember going through that light, or you don't remember passing that building, that's because you were repeating a habit. So the first thing that we're going to do is to shape your habits. You're going to look at your habits and shape them. It's interesting that you can't really stop a bad habit. What you have to do is replace it and make the new habit more important to you and more likely to happen than the old habit. And there's a process to do this. The first thing to do is pay attention to your current routines. Now, a bad habit is something that you do repeatedly without truly deciding to do it, that will not lead your life where you want it to go. Bad habits are often pleasurable in the moment, but over time they become destructive. A good habit is often less pleasurable in the moment, but it does lead you to greater health or connection or other positive benefit. Notice your life. Notice what you want to keep the same and what you want to do differently. I studied different research on developing positive habits and distilled it into a process that I call the REST method. As in the rest of your life, you'll have this method in your back pocket and you can use it again and again. It's a simple process. I really like simple, and I suspect you probably do too. The REST method is your foundational tool to stepping into reclaiming your epic life. The letters in this acronym, REST, stand for things. R is for remind yourself. E is for enjoy. The S is for small. And T is for track. Now let's break this down. The first thing you need to do is remind yourself. Everywhere. Make it very visible to yourself that you want to change your habit. Let me talk a little about the first time I used this process. My habit that I wanted to start and, of course, focus on is the one that I recommend that you start with, if it works for you. It was to sit in silence for 5 minutes a day. Now, as we talked about last time, sitting in silence can be really difficult for people who have PTSD and other conditions that arise from excessive stress. For those people, I recommend physical activity such as jumping jacks or marching in place or walking your dog doing something where you're moving your body. What I had decided to do is that I wanted to sit in silence. My therapist had recommended meditation. I had read about meditation, and I believed to my core that meditation is a valuable tool. And I had a heck of a time starting to do it. What I did when I started out was I posted sticky notes all over my house. I put some on my door from my bedroom to the kitchen, and I put some on the kitchen cupboard right where I looked, and I put some on my coffee pot. And what it was to remind me to sit in silence before I made my coffee in the morning. And I did it. I did it for 5 days in a row. I was so proud of myself that I was starting to build a habit. But then toward the end of the week, I was having some company come over. I was having friends in, and I didn't want all my friends to see that I had sticky notes saying sit still and be quiet all over my house. And so I took the sticky notes down. I figured because I'd done it for several days in a row, 5 days in a row, surely this was a new habit. What happened next was I didn't do it for weeks. Then one day I realized I wasn't doing my new habit, and I stopped and I thought about it. I went back to my notes from all the books that I'd read about forming a new habit, and I realized I was not paying attention to the second letter. I was reminding myself everywhere. I made it so obvious and so in my face, I just couldn't miss it. But the second letter, E, stands for enjoy. Enjoy it. Now, I ask you, is it possible to truly enjoy anything before your first cup of coffee? I don't think so. I didn't think so then, and so I changed up the habit a little. I put the sticky notes back up. Well, I had to make new ones because the other ones wouldn't stick. But I decided that instead of sitting still for 5 minutes before my coffee, I would brew my coffee, and I would sit and hold that coffee and smell it. There is nothing, I don't think, more delightful than the scent of freshly brewed coffee. And so I sat there with my brewed coffee and enjoyed it, and enjoyed my time sitting still. So I was doing the two things. I was reminding myself everywhere, and I was enjoying what I do. Now, sometimes we have a habit that we want to have that's not inherently enjoyable, like sitting in silence was not enjoyable for me on its own. But adding the smell of coffee made it more enjoyable, for instance. I don't know about other habits, like making your bed every day. To me, that's not a very enjoyable thing to do. But when I later on decided that that was going to be what I did, I decided that I was going to celebrate every time I made my bed. And so I would make my bed, and I would stand back and look at it and really enjoy that I had done it. I would really enjoy how it looked and how beautiful it was, because celebration is powerful. I think we need to celebrate more. When was the last time that somebody put a picture that you drew on the refrigerator? People used to celebrate us, and then as we grow older, we forget to celebrate ourselves. We get things right. We need to celebrate. Celebrate that you're taking charge of your life. Enjoy it. Now, the third principle is to keep it small and doable. And that's why I started with only 5 minutes a day. When you decide to do something like walk your dog, or exercise, or sit in silence, you can always do it for longer, but I want you to have your baseline be very, very, very small. For instance, somebody who wants to start an exercise program. It's a lot to go into a gym and work out. But you can make your baseline something as simple and as small as to put on your workout shoes, or even just to drive to the gym, or walk through the gym door. Something like that. Make it as small as you possibly can. the smallest possible activity that will get your mind going there. Now, you and I know that just 5 minutes a day of exercise probably isn't going to do it for you. But establishing that habit will get you there. Getting in the habit of exercising 5 minutes a day will help you get to where you exercise more. When I was working on my doctorate, I made a baseline that I would write at least 20 minutes a day. You cannot write a thesis in 20 minutes a day unless you have a lot of days to do it. But that 20 minutes would get me started enough to keep going. And it was through that micro habit, that very small thing, that I was able to keep going. So keeping it small and doable is absolutely key. Get to the absolute smallest thing possible and keep at it. So now the fourth habit, or the fourth letter, is T for track it. You gotta write it down. You're going against a natural process called homeostasis. So homeostasis is the internal drive to keep things the same. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, and change is seen as unsafe. And so your amygdala, which is an almond-shaped part of your brain, will have you forget, and it'll keep you from doing it every time. You have to find a way to make your brain feel safe that you're doing the thing, and keeping it small, keeping it very doable is one of the ways we can do that. But T is for track it. So when you write it down, you're telling your brain that it is safe and that you want to keep doing it. Make sure you write it down as soon as you do it. It tells your amygdala that it's safe, it helps it make it important to you, and it trains your brain into a new thing. We want to be gentle with our brains. We want to train our brain that it is safe to try something new, and we do that by starting out very, very small and keeping at it. All of this is very simple, but it's not necessarily easy. Simple and easy are not the same thing. It's just not. One of the things that can help establish a new habit is to have an accountability partner. Have someone else in your life help you keep on track, noticing whether or not you've done it, and celebrating with you. When you have an accountability partner, you've got to be careful with them. You probably don't want to have a family member as an accountability partner because they're too close and it's too easy to feel judged. Anything that feels negative is not going to help you stay with it. An accountability partner needs to be somebody who cares but isn't really invested in you so much so it needs to be somebody who's consistent. Ideally, it's somebody else who's wanting to have a kind of the same journey of establishing a new habit. Doesn't have to be the same habit, but the same journey of really establishing something more powerful in your life. So what you do with your accountability partners, you check in daily. You just let them know. This is what I did with mine. On the days that I did the thing, I would send a thumbs up. Just an emoji with a thumbs up, that's all. And she would send me a thumbs up. And that was it. That was enough. That created enough of that dopamine feedback to make it feel good and to feel like we were celebrating a little. But then if I didn't do it, I would send her one of those emojis. See, that's like a little pile of dung, the little poop emoji. And she would send back a thumbs up because it wasn't just doing it that mattered. It was to pay attention that made the biggest difference. Paying attention. And so celebrating that I was paying attention, that's really important. And it can be a key. Pay attention. Now, she would send me a happy face or a sad face, and I would send her a thumbs up because that feedback has to be small enough that you're gonna do it. You gotta be able to do the thing. You've got to be able to be consistent. So you're not going to want to take a lot of time doing it. So that it's really important to make sure that the actions you take are small enough to keep consistent with. Now, if you'll do better with written instruction, go ahead and go to my website and request the Epic Life Blueprint, and it will detail out how you put this into effect. I promise you, when you start doing one thing, just one thing that is for you and your well-being, your life starts a trajectory of getting better and better. Remember, you are a whole person, and when one thing improves, it all improves. You'll have so much of an epic life when you love yourself enough to take small actions every day that are designed to improve your life. Come back next episode and we'll dive into how you work with your defenders. Remember, your life is worth your effort.